Relationships. I can spend a whole lot of time talking about this because we're all at kind of different stages. This is both friendship and marriage, that kind of stuff. But I think it is important. Give you a couple seconds to take that. Friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art. It has no survival value. Rather, it is one of those things that gives value to survival. It's not one of those things that you can quantify, that you can say, man, this friend's worth $100,000, so I need to invest time in it. But it is one of those things that without this side of things, without my friends that I've grown up with and with the ones that I've met in college, without my wife's support, without a child at home, family support, the other stuff that I'm doing is really irrelevant to me. I work hard for various reasons, but the top two reasons are sitting at home right now. So those relationships are important, and as you get older, they'll get more important, and as you go through those stages, they'll get more important. So, life changed and people changed. I am going to tell my 5 closest friends from college, I'm going to tell you exactly where they are right now, what they're doing these days. These were 5 people that I roomed with, grew up with, had classes with. We were all in the same position, doing the same thing 5 years ago. Okay? Me, married with a baby, living in Mansfield, working for an oil and chemical company. Matt Worsham, living in Houston, serious girlfriend, working for an insurance company. Dan, just moved to Chicago, single, working for Deloitte. Matt, living in Dallas, serious girlfriend, working for a hedge fund. Cole, living in Dallas, traveling all the time. Serious girlfriend, owns his own business. These people were in the exact same position I was in 5 years ago. And now look. Look at the difference. We've got family, we've got people about to get engaged. Now they're all over the country. And these were my closest friends. Roomed with them, went through a lot of things together. But this is how fast your group of friends can separate. And not necessarily in a bad way, it's life, it's growth. And they can go separate ways, go through different stages of life. When you get married, start having kids, all those things tend to kind of move your friendships further away. It doesn't take any value out of them, it just changes them. This is a big thing. If you want to maintain those friendships, you got to be intentional. And what I mean by that, you guys are in college, you got your friends you're sitting next to, it's kind of like, hey, you want to grab lunch sometime? Yeah, just let me know when you're open. You can do that now, you can't do that when you start working. You've got to be intentional. You've got to call up a friend and say, hey, what do you have going on next week? You good next Wednesday? Let's meet up, grab lunch, grab dinner, whatever it is. You've got to be intentional with it. If you're passive with it, it's like working out. You can always find something else to get in the way and give you a reason not to work out. Something always comes up. Unless you plan it, unless you put it in your schedule and say, I'm going, this is like a business meeting, I'm going to be there, then you can find some way to not have time to go do it. So when it comes to friendships, life gets busy, you got to plan for it. Okay? Like I said, for me, this is my goal. I try to eat with at least one friend I haven't seen in a while each month. Whether it's somebody that I haven't seen, since I graduated, I try to keep those relationships open for just personal benefit and as well as to extend my network of friends professionally. So, understand the stakes. Now, I don't know, I'm not even going to get into raising hands. Eventually, the majority of you will have a serious boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband or wife, and children. A good portion of you will. These stakes at that stage in the game get a lot bigger. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time into it. The fact is that the person you decide to spend the rest of your life with is very important because you will likely be with them for hopefully 70, 80 years. That's a long time, okay? That's a long time. So pick wisely and understand that when you pick your significant other, you're marrying their family as well. I cannot stress that enough. So if you hate their family, that will cause a major rift in the relationship. I'm blessed. I've got wonderful in-laws, wonderful family. My mom loves my wife loves my mom. Our families mesh real well, and we got the support on both ends because that kind of stuff gets tough along the way. So we've got their support, makes it nice with the baby at home. You know, it's just, like I said, we're not gonna go into this heavily. I can just tell you that the decision you make on that last bullet point will be one of the biggest decisions you ever make. And you just need to make sure that you think it through and get the right support system around you, because it's a lifelong commitment, okay? Just give you an idea of my last couple of years. This is my high school picture. That was my wife and I in our engagement picture, which was on TCU's campus. These are a bunch of buddies of mine that I graduated with. The one on the left, Matt's the one working for the hedge fund. Dan next to me, the black shirt, works for Deloitte. And Robert on the far right is a guy I work with now. He's the air tar company. So in Robert's situation, I decided to leave my previous company. I was traveling 200 plus days a year. Didn't want to do it anymore. My wife and I were about to get married, and she said, "This is not going to fly." So called Robert up, said, "Hey, do you know of anybody hiring?" And he said, "Why don't you just come work for me?" So those relationships can come into play very quickly. When he said, "Yeah, why don't you come and work with me? Just come in for an interview," I started 3 days later. So a lot of times it is who you know. It's not necessarily what your resume looks like. There may be relationships or resume that need to come in the picture. So, and that is our newest addition with this little gangster outfit on. It's like a little mob boss. Well, this is, and I show you this just to prove to you, that's high school. In a very, very short amount of time to me, all of a sudden there's a child. So this is how quickly life changes as you graduate, okay?